Alrighty, we've got the first quarterfinals match of the 2022 Dominion Championship. This one versus 8th seeded yurikamome versus 31st seed Marin. This is JNails, and I'm joined by Kubu. And,
Hello.
oh, goodness gracious. Oh, this is a disaster. So we're on these Dominion Streams accounts, and the play speed is set to slow. Oh, this.
Oh no.
We can fix this. You can change the animation speed mid game now. Okay, that crisis narrowly averted. Uh, anyways, there's a kingdom in front of us. What are we thinking?
Mm, I don't see a village.
Well,
I
Toil's a village. I don't see a good village.
there's
there,
Toil. All right.
there's a village.
Well, Toil's a village, but it doesn't allow for terminal draw cards as much anyway.
Yeah.
And so I don't see any draw cards. So
You
yeah.
you could toil a puka for draw, then toil a bunch of corsairs and merchant ships, which would net make you money on the following turn. You shouldn't do that, but you could. Nothing that gains silvers, so Fiatum looks useless. Get some gold gainers here, Market Square Horde. Since you're looking at money anyway, I would think about whether triggering those is viable. There's also Triumphal Arch, which is obviously usually much better in engines, but I mean, you could take a decent number of Market Squares and Lighthouses without hurting your deck too much here, and that would score you a lot of Triumphal Arch points. Yeah, so I'm thinking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm imagining a deck with a bunch of market squares, then and a chapel. You trash, you gain gold off chapel, and then you get a bunch of lighthouses at some point for triumphal arch points.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Lighthouse and Market Square seem good together. That makes Corsair not super good. I was about to say, oh, Corsair will be good in a kingdom where golds are good, but that's not true because you just block the attack. Horde, I think, might be worth playing with. Getting gold off a Market Square is not going to be easy after the opening because you got to line it up with a chapel and a junk card, and you don't really have a good way to increase your hand size. So I don't really want to get golds that way if I can avoid it long term. So maybe Market Squares and Lighthouses early, maybe a Horde before you start gaining, and then you're just buying provinces roughly one at a time, I think.
Sounds like a plan. Maybe you'll weave in Corsair anyway, because what terminals are you playing with? You
Yeah.
don't really want to play trouble. And
Yeah,
it's
I,
like,
I think all three of these duration cards are kind of interesting. So Corsair and Cargo Ship are actually very similar to one another here. It's +2 coins terminally, and then effectively +1 card the following turn. The question is, do you want the +1 card to definitely be your buy or not? I think I'm going to say Cargo Ship is probably better than Corsair. Late game, of course. Actually, even late game, if you're playing with a Horde, Cargo Ship can set aside the gold that you gained. Yeah, I think Corsair is just worse than Cargo Ship here. And there's some
yeah,
consideration
especially
of
like
merchant ship.
if your opponent is playing with Corsair, you can trust your gold and you can use your market square from hand to gain a gold and set that aside with the cargo
Yep.
ship.
So
It's I don't
opening
know if that makes any
wise,
sense.
what splits do we have here?
We have a
I don't think you're ever playing the Curse Gold in the opening in this kingdom, just because you don't need to hit a high price point at the beginning. So they both have the 2-4 split in different ways. I think to me the options are Chapel Poacher, Chapel Cargo Ship, and Chapel Market Square.
mm, mm. I I'm on the side of market square, I think, because I really don't care about price points, and if I collide the market square with a chapel, I'm pretty happy.
I think I
Uh,
agree with that. Um, I think Poacher is a good opening if you care about hitting 5 at all, because you got some chance of, if your Poacher is not in the Chapel hand, then maybe that gets you to 5. But the 5s are not super good here. You could play without any of them ever, and you're not hitting 6 with any likelihood. So yeah, I think the Poacher, while often a good opening in like your generic base kingdom, doesn't appeal to me. Cargo Ship is risky because it's sad if you line it up with Chapel. Um, I
Yeah,
think
and even if you don't, like, what is the point of the cargo ship if we establish that we don't care?
Yeah.
getting by.
Well, I think the good scenario would be like if you find cargo ship turn 3, you set aside a market square, then you can still trash 4 with chapel and get a gold. So it's got like a better version of the market square good draw, but also a worse version of the bad draw. I like market square. I think chapel plus a cantrip is usually pretty safe because you're very likely to find chapel and 4 cards you want to trash, and the market square gives you some chance of getting a gold early, which in this game will be pretty good. Right, they both find chapel turn 3, both trash 2 estates, so pretty equitable thus far. They both open poacher. I'm not sold on this poacher opening business. I think this is Marin being a bad influence and yurikamome succumbing to peer pressure.
Yeah.
That's my read. If I see one person do something silly, that's a player doing something silly. If I see both players do the same silly thing, I think collusion is afoot. And it's not
Yeah,
that silly. It's still
that's
like an okay opening, but I think it is inferior to Market Square in the opening.
yeah, I guess we can like we care about the price points a little bit because we might want to get more market squares. I don't really know. Uh, not sure that getting more market squares does a whole lot though.
I would want multiple Market Squares here because of Trample Arch. Like
Yeah,
I would anticipate
I
getting multiples of those and lighthouses at some point.
yeah, it's like I don't really know how many do I want. Do I want to be hitting 6 to spend 2 buys on
Yeah,
market squares.
yeah.
Not sure about that. Probably not. Just I just want to buy it on any hand that doesn't. I know 6 probably. My 6 is probably a horde.
Yeah, I liked that Market Square there. Uh, Again, like I'm thinking about lighthouses later, but I think early on you just want to get really thin with the chapel and gain a few golds off of Market Square while you're still trashing, and for those purposes, lighthouse is just the stop card that's getting in the way. So I don't think 2 lighthouses was better, and I certainly don't think a second poacher is better.
Yeah, I don't want lighthouses until like pretty late in the game because it is just a copper or copper plus
I think of
in
Lighthouse
this
as a
deck.
silver. Like it's a silver that misses a lot of shuffles. Each play of Lighthouse is netting you 2 coins. It's just spread out.
Uh, yeah, I usually do that, but in this kingdom, when we're really thin at the beginning, I'm not sure that. Well, something between copper and a silver is what I'm
Hmm.
thinking, rather than just the silver. Do we trash all of these cards,
Do
or do
do
we want
do
to
do do.
buy cargo
Hmm.
ship maybe or market square?
I think I'm going to. Well, what are these bottom 2 cards for Marin? Let's figure that out real fast. They have.
Probably 2 junk cards because we trashed once.
Yeah. So every 2 joint. Yeah. Well, how many stop cards will we have at the end of this? Market Square is functionally a stop card. Chapel's a stop card. I think you trash 3 of these cards because then you're still drawing your whole deck. Um, Interesting.
Oh,
This is a curious plan. I'm interested to see where it goes. Uh, Corsair. Hmm. So I was poo pooing the Corsair because your opponent just buys lighthouses. Uh, I can see some rationale for it early on because we were also saying you don't want the lighthouses super early per se, and Corsair at least offers that minor annoyance of now you've got to buy some lighthouses. So that is something. I don't think it's worth taking a curse for because like now look at this hand. You get a big chapel trash, but you're not activating your market square. So I don't think I like the Corsair play, but like there is something to it.
yeah, I I don't hate it that much.
Well, so to respond to the chat, the non-draw negative card that is an alternative to Corsair is Cargo Ship. which, for example, you could have gotten without taking a curse. And cargo ship and Corsair, once Lighthouses in play, are very similar, near identical. And I think the only way in which they're different favor is cargo ship.
Well, I don't know. Like Corsair still attacks. We bought that light. I don't know that I like buying this lighthouse because now we have a lot of stop cards again. I think does Marin's deck still have 5 stop cards? Yes, right? Or even 6.
Uh,
Oh,
so we got a Corsair, a Cursed Gold, a Chapel, and what else?
2 coppers.
Then we got 5 stop cards. Or 6 stop cards. Lighthouse is a stop card. So yeah, 6 sounds right then.
Yeah, I guess unless we're not trying to get these chapel trashes. Oh no.
And now yurikamome has in their deck an extra market square down there. And do they have a gold already? They do. So they got
I believe so.
they got a market square and a gold. And what else? Trash 2 coppers, 3 coppers. They got a copper down there. Okay, so I think you can trash all of this. You will have one more chapel trash if you want it. Line up that last copper with your market square. Trash it all and buy yourself a second lighthouse. You don't need the second lighthouse right now. Well, I guess Yurikamome doesn't know for sure that Marin will play the Corsair, but if they play the Corsair this turn, then you have no need for the second lighthouse. I think you probably buy a second lighthouse just because you're gonna want it.
Well, you're expecting Marin to have a Corsair in hand at least.
Right, but their deck has 6 total stop cards, so pretty darn likely.
Well, you know for sure it's in their hand because the previous hand didn't have it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, So there's a chance, of course, that Marin just plays a chapel and gains a gold and decides that's better than Corsair. And that probably becomes more likely if you don't buy a second lighthouse, because then you give your opponent an active incentive to hold off one turn and save the Corsair for next turn. So I think I still like the lighthouse there.
You probably want the pair of lighthouses anyway. And also Marin played that market square before. Sure. I would imagine means we're not thinking about using the chapel to trash this.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say that's a bad order. Unless you're just 100% confident, like, I'm not playing my chapel this turn. Or you just lead with the poacher, right? There's no scenario where you're not playing your poacher. But there's at least some conceivable scenario where you look at your hand and you're like, oh, maybe I should keep this market square in hand.
Yeah, sure, but like this, what I was going at, this ordering suggests to me that they're not gonna do, they're not gonna play the chapel this turn. It actually looks like Marin is planning to play their chapel all the time, so holding on to that gold.
I mean, like, you could play both of these if you just toil the Corsair. So it is not even like you have to forego playing the chapel to play the Corsair.
Oh yeah, that is true.
So yurikamome, they didn't trash all of their coppers for some reason. I don't understand why yurikamome kept a copper last turn. That was weird to me.
Oh yeah, they kept the copper and they bought the lighthouse anyway. Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
They didn't need the copper to buy the lighthouse. Miscounted their deck. They had an extra copper coming up. I would think the only reason you keep that copper is if you think it's your last junk card and you need it to activate Market Square next turn. I don't know why you'd want 2 coppers. Because if I'm not mistaken, now they don't draw their deck. I mean, they could draw their deck if they played both Market Squares, but you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, maybe we want to turn both of them into golds. But not sure that I like that.
Like, suppose you just had the one copper. I think this would be a
Oh,
pretty guaranteed play. You play one market square, you play the poacher, you trash the singular copper. Now they've bottom decked something or other. I don't know. Oh, they bottom decked the lighthouse. Yeah, see, this could matter. Um, I think keeping that copper was terrible. Uh, your opponent has the Corsair in play, so your opponent also has a second Corsair. Yeah, look what you've done to yourself, yurikamome. This is um, not good. I think you play the market square so you can play your lighthouse so as to not get annoyed by the Corsair. If
yeah, and I
you
think you admit I think you're supposed to admit your mistake too and trash that copper this thing.
yes, so if you don't, if you just play the chapel right now to get an extra gold, well, you're losing that gold anyway to the Corsair attack that you're now getting next turn. I think that extra copper is really hurting your Kamame here.
Yeah.
Oh, two Duffman, I hate to disappoint, but this is actually not free commentary. There is going to be a surcharge applied to your Dominion account at the end of this match. Don't worry, if you join late, it is going to be prorated, so. Yeah, okay, so your economy does, in fact, play the lighthouse, which seems right. I actually don't know that you trash both coppers here, because like you trash one copper, and then you're back to where you ought to have been, which is having a singular junk card in your deck to trash to the chapel.
Yeah, but like, what are you buying? Are you buying two market source? Are you buying a horde here? You're buying a horde that's a stop card.
So Maharath wants a stack of market squares and corsairs. Interesting. Well, so if you buy a bunch of
Scared.
corsairs and you toil them, that is just kind of like a fancy cantrip, right? It's like Haven-esque in nature because you get the +1 card the next turn. I mean, it's worth points, trample arch points. I was more inclined towards market squares and lighthouses as the two stacks of actions I go for. Lighthouse is cheap, so you can get them easy, and silver's not a bad card in a money deck. Like I don't hate the Corsair market square thing, but I feel like it's a little bit more expensive to amass.
Yeah, it's just Corsair is a really expensive economy. It's 10 money to have 2 money back. It's yeah,
Yuri
it's
Kama
not
may
great.
trash your copper. You don't have draw for all of this.
Yeah, I don't get it.
This copper just feels annoying.
I mean, maybe this is okay. No, we don't want a Corsair, or do we not want
Okay, Yuri Kamame heard me yelling at him from across the world and has been successfully bullied into undoing this Corsair buy.
I don't think we're gonna undo the copper trash because uh,
That is
is
true.
yeah.
They have not undone far enough back to appease me. It wasn't the buying of the Corsair that was the problem. It was the failing to trash the copper. Dang it!
But that is a really peculiar card. I guess that's why we didn't trash the
Mm-hmm.
copper, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting unnecessarily fancy here.
yeah, it's not Marin that's trying to build an engine.
Yeah.
It's yurikamome.
So
Okay, 2 golds.
yeah, the way to get trample arch points is just to put one copy of every action card in the kingdom into your deck. Okie dokie. So as Marin, I'm thinking trash 3, toil Corsair by Lighthouse.
Mm, We we might be sticking to playing this cursed gold plan for some reason. I could see also play the cursed gold, play the Corsair Toil, the Chapel, Trash 2, grab Market Square Lighthouse.
Regarding Puka, I feel like Puka has no place in this deck long term for sure. It's not a terminal I want to be playing late in the game. I don't want to have coppers. I don't want to have to trash a gold to draw potentially more than one gold. Otherwise, you're not like netting money. And I'm anticipating having a decent number of actions for Triumphal Arch points anyway, and drawing lighthouses or market squares or whatever they else did isn't like amazing. Uh, I think the Puka's got to be for some little short term fancy play here. Uh, and I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, are you going to like trash the Puka with the Chapel later?
I don't know. Like
Uh,
I think you
don't
take
like
some
that.
goals off of market squares early, and eventually you trash all your cards, and then market square has done its job, and then you add a horde or two, probably just the one, to gain a few more golds as you're greening, and then you can spend some extra money on lighthouses and market squares for Triumphal Arch, and then I'd probably throw in a cargo ship or two as my terminal. That's how I would play this.
Yeah, that's something that I'm inclined to agree with.
I don't dislike these Corsairs that much, to be honest, except the ways in which they've acquired them have been somewhat suspect. Corsair is more expensive than cargo ship and is more or less doing the same thing and a little bit worse. But the upside is it at least forces your opponent to get an early lighthouse, so there's some argument for it.
Yeah, this isn't it doesn't even force that lighthouse that much because again, like you can just hold the market square in hand as you're playing a gold to get it back up.
Yeah, so the real Corsair attack is just like a -1 card attack because you're not allowed to play a market square.
Yeah, but if you're holding two, then you're actually netting gold with your opponent. It's,
But then Corsair has a
I don't know.
militia.
Mm, militia that's gaining a gold for your opponent. Usually it would be great. In this kingdom, not so much.
All right, so Marin is thinking hard about this. Okay, so they did as I suggested, but in an opposite order. They play the Corsair first and Toil the Chapel, which has no meaningful difference whatsoever.
Yeah, and we're abandoning the playing the cursed gold plan, which
Why did
yeah.
we play the Market Square?
Why do we play that copper right now as yurikamome? We could have
What do we do? I don't like this at all. I hate this. So we could have
we
toiled
could
the
have played
chapel and trashed the copper and gained a bunch of golds there, right? We
yeah.
also could have gained more golds off of the puka if we. Yeah, I'm confused. I'm very
I mean,
confused.
you wanted to draw a deck, maybe, or like try to,
My
but
guess is Yuri Kamame wants to keep that copper around for the next puka. But also, like especially if you're playing that market square, you could have just rebought the copper, I guess. Um, but like I wouldn't. But if you really wanted a copper, you could have just bought another copper, and had more golds in your deck. Yeah, I did not like that.
I mean, Yurikamome basically took a bunch of free coppers this game anyway by not trashing them with her
Yes.
actions.
All right. So Marin is thin, which helps one win. Okay, so presumably we're toiling the chapel. Leaves us with 5 money. Uh, or are we toiling the chap? I mean, like you could buy a second market square here and maybe get 2 golds off of this copper trash next turn. How do you play this? You're buying a lighthouse, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
so you could play the gold, toil the chapel, trash the copper, gain a gold, buy lighthouse market square. You
You
could.
don't have to buy a lighthouse actually, because yurikamome is probably gonna play their Corsair this turn. I guess you on the same arena that we had before. It's true, but
I'd be looking to buy a lighthouse. I mean, you don't know whether they'll play it or not, but also just like go ahead and get that stuff started because you don't necessarily want to be in the position of having to buy the lighthouse the next turn and find it. Um, Alternatively, we could not trash this copper. We play the copper and we got 8 money. What's 8 doing? Lighthouse Horde, maybe.
yeah.
I think I like the line that they're going for better here.
Yeah, market square and the gold are probably better than a horde. Or a no copper too. Yeah, okay. The no copper
Yeah,
makes it better.
yeah, and then Market Square Lighthouse seems pretty clear to me. I would consider the cargo ship if I had more market squares, but I don't want to have just 1+ buy card in my whole deck, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. They came to the conclusion in the end. They just took their time doing so. Trash the
This
Puka.
puka is.
I don't think I quite want a green yet. I don't think your deck is like you're very close to wanting a green because it's like a money kingdom and all, but I don't think you're quite there. I think toil the chapel, trash the puka, buy a horde. They go straight for the province, which I mean, again, like it is big money, so that pushes you to green earlier than usual. But I would have waited another turn or two at least. There's Triumphal Arch, which is a decent bit of alt VP, and your deck it's not set up to be improving itself here very consistently while you're greening. I would want a horde, I think, or at least just a bit more money in my deck before I turn to provinces, probably.
Is Marin going to follow the province?
Uh, I sure hope not.
I mean,
As
yeah,
Marin, my
I don't
immediate
know.
thought, if I see them buy a province, is I will take all the arch points.
Yeah,
Puka,
that is
Puka
what they're
the,
doing, but they're also taking a.
I, these two are a negative influence on each other. They're leading each other down the path of darkness.
I mean, we have a village, right? There is toil.
There's toil. I, as
All right.
Marin, kind of just want to play the lighthouse and then chapel the Corsair. Like you now don't have the terminal space to play it. Might as well gain 2 golds off of it. Um, and
No, it's
then
not poacher. Maybe Chapel this poacher.
you've also got your Puka and your last copper down there, so just leave those there, and you're probably having a good turn next turn. You could consider playing the poacher, or actually no yeah, chapel the poacher even better. Drawing the poacher seems pretty good. So you kill the poacher with your chapel, you take 2 gold, you toil the Corsair, you buy a lighthouse. There you go. There's your turn. Ooh, yeah. See, you don't want to draw this copper. Now that you got yourself a Puka for some reason, you wanted that copper to stay on
Oh,
the bottom to line up with your Puka. I don't love how this turn is going. This is congratulations. You
we
you found your Puka. You played all your market squares. What's the end goal here?
um I don't know, we have a bunch of gold down there, I suppose. So maybe we can discard this
What do you
puka and
need
draw
gold
into
for?
gold and
This is
uh
like you could have gotten 2 golds here. That's like 12 money. That is more money than these golds are providing you. This is I don't like how they played this turn at all. This looks terrible in so many ways. Why do we have the puka? Look what the puka's doing. The puka's doing nothing. Why did? Oh, it's worse than nothing. The puka's getting in the way of drawing your last. Is that a gold down there? We established that.
Yes.
Okay. We're playing the puka. We are
Oh,
we are not getting a.
why?
We're not getting any golds off of it because we played all the market. Why? What is going on? Why are we? I'm so confused.
I mean, I guess playing the Puka is a free copper trash, so alright.
Did
But
you want to trash that copper? You needed that copper. That was that was the only thing your
I
puka
mean, you can buy
did.
it back if you want it.
I They had the copper and the puka lined up on bottom with a bunch of market squares. That would have been a perfectly okay turn. Oh.
Yeah.
Mm. It just,
Hard to disagree.
I didn't like this turn. I didn't like this turn one bit. Province,
Oh,
you too. They feed off. This is a toxic relationship, is what this is.
okay, and now we don't see any of our gold. That's
Yeah.
goodness.
Here you're playing the puka, I think, and drawing a bunch. If you draw your market
Are
square,
we
then you
gonna? I
probably
guess we have to like play this Puka and
toil the
I
chapel
don't
if you draw a bunch
know,
of market squares, and then you can get
have
some additional
draw into
golds off of
some
it.
gold, but we don't have the market squares in hand, and like, what's the point?
Well, I am led to believe this is largely golds and market squares down there. I would hope. And so you're either drawing payload off of it, or you're drawing market squares and can gain some golds off of it by toiling chapel and trashing something, Corsair maybe.
What, four market squares, a province, three golds. There are only three golds in that deck. You no, there aren't three golds. There are two golds. Uh there's a poacher. We're not drawing a
Yeah,
whole lot of good stuff with this Puka.
I mean, all of those I think are things I would be happy to draw. Actually, if you draw the golds, you've increased your payload for the turn. If you draw the market squares, you can gain golds off of them. If you draw
No, you
the
can't.
poacher,
You trash first, and then you have
no,
plus four cards.
you the chapel. Like
Oh,
especially
you can follow. Right.
if you draw the poacher, I'd be happy to trash it at this point. It's now an oasis. Alternatively, like I would not be sad to trash this Corsair now, um, if that is what was required of me. And I mean, drawing province at least gets it off the top.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
okay. I guess
Yeah,
that.
that's one way to activate it. I totally forgot about the Corsair thing, but that solves the problem, I suppose. Now what does one buy? The fives don't look better than the twos and threes here, so I would think about just killing this poacher. With provinces in deck, the the poacher is not clearly worse than nothing. Um, and the main reason I wanted to trash it a second ago was to get golds, which you don't need to do here. So I'm not sure whether I would kill the poacher here or not. This
Also,
could,
a lighthouse is worth 3 points.
yeah,
So
I feel like I'm buying a lighthouse here. Uh, I guess Corsair is also potentially worth points.
yeah, but this Corsair is basically a duchy, I think.
Yeah. I think the lighthouse seems a little bit better to me. Um, but I mean the Corsair is not ridiculous.
Well, you're never going to line up this Puka with a bunch of market squares again.
We did line it up. It was lined up the previous turn. We just
Yeah, we're
unlined it
never
up.
gonna do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So presumably you're playing the Corsair. If you got a Puka in your deck, I guess you're keeping the copper around. We got 7, 9 money. What do you do with 9? Marin's got a bunch of market squares, and they don't have a bunch of another card. So, like right here, I'm seriously thinking about just buying 4 lighthouses.
About six
Wait,
lighthouses. Not
why did I think
six,
it was
five
9?
lighthouses.
Apparently it's more than 9. Was I not paying close enough
Because
attention?
you toiled the cursor in your head, probably.
Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe I just can't count. Um, Fortunately, we got someone who's better at mathematics here to help me count to two-digit numbers.
No, I can't count. No.
uh, okay, so we got 11. That's a bigger number than I anticipated.
No.
I don't
Okay,
know.
only the first three lighthouses are points,
Yeah, so maybe
which,
3 lighthouses and I don't know what
and
else
then
you
we have
want.
five left. Eh,
I mean, all the lighthouses are at least silvers. So, like 4 lighthouses and a silver would be okay. Um,
well, we have a Puka in our deck, so they're not exactly silvers. They're a lot worse, actually.
that that is fair. Um, that says more about the puka than it does about the lighthouse. um,
Oh.
I yeah, I don't know. 4 lighthouses and a silver. The fives still don't inspire me.
Well, the five lighthouses makes sure that yurikamome never scores more than well, okay.
Well,
Yurikamome can buy more Corsairs for Frenzy Subus.
yeah,
Never scores
yeah.
more
They don't
than
even seem to want lighthouse
three.
for arch points. I was saying like the five cost cards are not interesting me. Province lighthouse. So okay.
Oh hey, this is a probably as good of a lineup as you're gonna get as Yurikamome.
Yeah, for real. Um, Alrighty.
Do we have a we don't have a lighthouse in play as Marin. Alright. That's exciting times.
uh, Here I'm guessing they just province.
Mm, yeah. I mean we could do the lighthouses too, but I think it's time yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Yuri Kamame has a difficult time getting out. If you have 2 Corsair, still trash only 1 gold or silver, right? That is correct.
Yes.
Um, yeah, both Corsairs are trying to trash the first gold you play. It doesn't stack for the same reason Enchantress doesn't stack. You play 5 Enchantresses, they're all targeting your opponent's first action card of the turn. They don't take their turn and get in a nice orderly queue and attack you one at a time. Yeah, so I'm thinking my Providence isn't so obvious because like you do want these arch points, I suppose, and I guess you're locked into doing that with Corsair. This is reasonable, and
I mean, is this better? Aren't we gonna miss eight a bunch of times?
it's half as many points, but you're adding a Corsair to your deck instead of a Province, which might be better for your deck.
It's a cantrip. We with this many Corsairs, it is basically a cantrip for the next turn.
Yeah, like the Corsair is not actively helping your deck really. Maybe slightly because like it could be the only turn when you draw the turn, but mostly I think it is just not a province is its upside. And are we still buying copper? I don't think this copper was worth it. Your deck is not thin anymore. This is like trying to line up 2 treasure maps at this point. Also, like, how desperately do you need to play your Puka? You have limited terminal space. If you just play your Corsair and leave the Puka in hand, you're not really worse off. I don't like the copper buy.
I mean, yeah. I guess we are getting a 7 card hand at the start this turn, so maybe there is some chance to line them up, but yeah, no.
Lots of lighthouses seems sensible.
Oh, yeah, we're not playing the gold because we don't want to trash it, right?
Although, if you're buying what I mean, I guess Marin's buying lighthouses here because they didn't hit province. You could have just bought the lighthouses the previous turn, and then you'd have a better deck, and you'd have hit province this turn.
True. Okay, yurikamome has maxed out their arch points, and I think so did Marin at this point.
That sounds correct.
So we're back to the good old who can hit province the most times.
I don't know what card is on bottom here for Marin, but it is certainly relevant.
I mean, at this stage of the game, you probably just have to buy a province. Try to buy a province, so you just have to find that bottom card.
Wait, does Marin have 5 lighthouses?
Uh, I think so. They have 27 points.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
that's, yeah. Oh, that's perfect because we get to trigger a shuffle and buy a province and put a lighthouse in play.
Yeah, I'd say this
And we should
this
also trash this copper.
this worked out. Yes, I would kill the copper here.
Yes. This copper is never lining up with a puka anyway because puka is in the next hand. Hey.
Yay. And as yurikamome, I would play these market squares. I think it is too late to be caring about gaining golds. Now it's all about hitting price points.
We were thinking about buying the copper back.
Let's not.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna hit pretty large price point here.
There's no need to play this puka. Don't think about it. Play market square, play corsair.
We might be thinking about toiling the chapel to trash the puka.
That's a
And
fair
I like
point.
that. We have
Yeah,
10.
yeah. Okay, okay. You've convinced me. So play the corsair, toil the chapel, trash the puka, gain a gold. Again, it is relevant what this bottom card is, and I don't know. Uh, do we have any idea what Yurikame's bottom card is?
I would guess a province because we didn't see one this turn yet.
How many provinces do they have in their deck?
2.
2 total. Well, both provinces are accounted for, right? They haven't
Oh,
shuffled
okay.
their deck since 2 turns ago, and they had a starting province, and then the other province they bought um,
Oh, it was a
after
copper.
the shuffle.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think seeing that this is So like obviously drawing the copper here is not helping you hit any relevant price point. You had enough money to do the chapel trash anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'd rather have a gold and a copper and not have a puka.
well, I think either line means you don't have the puka because you can toil the chapel either way.
Yeah.
And so this is basically: do you want a gold and a copper with a copper top decked, or do you want to have neither of those? And
Mm.
I think this is also reasonable. Like adding a gold and a copper is like adding 2 silvers, and 2 silvers is better than not 2 silvers in the Money Kingdom. But knowing that the copper is on top worries me a lot, given how late in the game it is. So, given that it's a copper, I think drawing it and trashing it seems pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, copper isn't. I guess copper is pretty bad in Yuri's deck. Right? Okay. Yeah, Eureka Miami's deck doesn't have the lighthouses. It mostly has Corsairs, so to hit 8, you need 2 golds and a corsair. So the copper is not actually useful for that. It's much more useful in Marin's deck where you have a bunch of things that do one. Mm. Okay, and now we are at the stage of the game where it's becoming awkward.
The old Dutch dance.
Yes. What makes it weird is it's that she dance with plus buy in
Mm-hmm.
the game, so
Indeed. Yeah, you can do two Dutchies here pretty easily. My
yeah, you
first
could do two
inclination
duchies.
is Dutchy Silver.
I'm wondering about Duchy Estate, but that's probably too soon, especially now that we shuffle next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want the estate at this point.
Yeah, our opponent has a clean shuffle, so we
Yeah.
don't have any idea of what is in their hand, so yeah, anything.
Yeah. So on the one, like I was contemplating a horde earlier, and this is the sort of situation where if you get here and you've got a horde in your deck, I think you're the much happier camper because while both decks are deteriorating from Dutchy buys, you're at least keeping up with some stream of golds. To be fair, I don't think that makes it
I
trivial that
think
horde is correct because maybe there's a scenario where buying that horde instead of something else means you are behind in the first place and don't get into the Dutchy dance.
oh, Marin thinks they're behind.
This what? How did they?
They just bought a province and it worked.
This seems absolutely insane to me, and I'm annoyed that it worked out. Like yurikamome was at the top of a shuffle. They had no way of knowing that their opponent didn't have plus buy. Their deck has 5 market squares in it. I guess they're probably not banking on their opponent not having plus buy. They're banking on their opponent not hitting 10, which is
Yeah.
that's not a ridiculous assumption, I guess. There's a risky play. They thought about it a
It's,
lot, so
I mean, it's also if your opponent does hit 10, then you're behind anyway because you're behind on a Dachi dance.
yeah. But I mean, maybe they just thought they needed to take a risk there. Well, I'm worked out.
Yeah, it's if 10 is a price point you're losing to anyway, might as well lose on the spot, I suppose. Don't like try to play from like an 80-20 position or 20-80 position or something. Don't hate that.
As Yuri Kamame, I'd be pretty sad right now that they caught me with no market square in hand.
Yeah, but I don't think these decks were like that likely to hit 10.
I don't know if it was that
All
unlikely.
right.
All right. Well, anyways, we got a kingdom here. So, ooh, plenty of stuff going on. We got 2 stacks of $5 villages. Prince can be a village. Broker can be a village. Hunting lodge is draw to X, as is library. Archive is draw. Broker can be draw. No plus buy anywhere, but we got a good gainer in the form of inventor.
Yeah.
Duplicate is also a gainer. Barbarian attack could be nasty. And broker trashes and goat trashes. We got a decent bit of all the stuff you would need. You're building pretty big here. The order is the question.
Yeah, and no, I don't think Barbarian comes into play. I think you want all the terminals based on Inventor.
That's probably right.
Mm.
Yes, I would definitely duplicate provinces. I think when you compare the inventor megaturn to the bridge megaturn, just as a monolithic thing, the inventor megaturn has a much harder time gaining a bunch of provinces all at once. Because like you play 7 bridges, you buy 8 provinces. You play 7 inventors. The first 3 are gaining you an estate, a duchy, and a duchy, and then only the last 4 can get you provinces. Um, Actually, no, you get an estate and 3 duchies. You're not getting a whole lot of provinces if you just play the inventors. And so if you want to take a bunch of provinces all at once, you kind of need duplicates to do that. And so I think you're looking to play four duplicates, or sorry, four inventors, and then some number of duplicates and duplicate provinces. Seems like a good end goal to aim at. Of course, I think in practice, if you both do that, there's a good chance this just ends up in a three pile situation before anyone gets there. But the ideal deck, I think, if left to its own devices, would play a bunch of duplicates. Not early on.
Right.
Inventor is just clearly better than
Yeah,
duplicate early on, but when I'm looking to green, I'm starting to think about adding duplicates.
yeah, I think at some point we're just going to have the situation where we need to gain something with the first inventor, and that's going to be a duplicate because it's nothing else.
See, is the first five archive? Well, we'll find out in a moment because someone here appears to have five.
We also opened per house, which I suppose we can play it as goat.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
opening poorhouse is like opening way of the goat. Which oh, wait, do we
uh,
both have the? No, we don't have both have the 5-2. Marin has the 5-2. Yeah, I think I like archive first here. You got the poorhouse anyway, so you got a terminal to draw to. Uh, all right, so what do you do is yurikamome. You got the 3-4. Um, Maharat is
you can
thinking,
make it into a 2-5
yeah,
if you really
exactly.
want to.
You could spend your favor. You could buy poorhouse now, set aside a copper, buy an archive. Then you got the same opening as your opponent, but without the favor. You could take a silver and a broker and set aside a an estate. I think I prefer that. Okay, Yuri Kamame is going for the 2-5 opening at the cost of a favor. I think that favor makes a difference. Uh, like I don't know, silver broker is seemingly to me in a similar ballpark to poorhouse archive. Broker's just a much better trasher than way of the goat, and getting to set aside an estate for turn three to miss that shuffle seems good. I don't. I think I prefer silver broker. Final answer.
Yeah, I definitely prefer silver broker as well. I really believe in this way of the goat stuff, and poor house play as a poor house only hits 4. So
Oh, hunting lodge as your first five. It looks like it might actually work out weirdly well for Marin given how they shuffled it. But yeah, I think archive beats hunting lodge in the opening.
I mean, it maybe worked out well for Marin, but didn't it work out better for Yukimomi anyway? With the archives in the hand.
I mean, depends on where in their shuffle the poorhouse is. Like if Yuri Kamame's poorhouse is in the top three of their deck, then you're definitely happier to see the archive here. Theoretically, I guess if the poorhouse is in the next three cards, then having a hunting lodge would have, in retrospect, been better. But like you can't know that. And
Mm, even then, like we are just trashing one card and not buying anything meaningful if we should flip the hunting lodge.
so if you draw the poorhouse with the hunting lodge, the hunting lodge is literally just a cantrip. Whereas poorhouse with archive, you're still getting a lot of value out of it. If you draw the archive in the non poorhouse hand, well, still doing a good bit to sift through your deck to get around to the poorhouse. The hunting lodge might do a little bit more in that scenario, but it is still just like a guide. It's a guide that you can only call when you see it, at least early on. It'll be a good card in a minute. Uh, but like at this stage in the game, I think the hunting lodge is just a really fancy guide. And Marin, as it happens, is a pretty good hand for finding a guide in here if they want to. But
Great, we spent a favor. Uh, that, wait, we're gonna spend a favor. Ooh, wait,
yeah, this hunting lodge. So they want to hit five, I think, right? Because they know for sure if they set aside a copper, they will hit five here. Okay, now I'm deeply confused. I thought so. Marin has seen two of their estates on turn three, which they know the rest of the deck is one estate, a bunch of coppers, and a hunting lodge, which is a cantrip. So if you set aside a copper to me on turn three, that signifies I'm guaranteeing with 100% certainty I hit five turn four, I can buy another five, which would make a lot of sense. Um,
I mean, unless they wanted to buy an inventor and trash a
yeah,
card instead.
which is not guaranteed because you don't know the hunting lodge and the estate are on top or anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh,
I mean, these archives are working out great because Yurikamome hit 5 on like every turn, multiple turns so far. Marin didn't. Okay, well, I guess are we happy to take a second inventor? Does Yurikamome have a lodge yet?
no, they don't. You can think about broker here.
Um, we only have one estate, right? Yeah, this is the last estate in both
Mm-hmm.
decks. Don't see what it does then. A little awkward with inventor too. I mean, we could trash these archives at some point, but eh, don't really love that. Hmm. What is at the bottom there? It's whatever it is, it hits 5, right?
They've got another archive, right? Uh, there's trash to
Yeah,
estate.
there
So
is.
there's an inventor, three coppers, and an archive. Seems like.
There is a silver down there, so coppers. Duplicate that.
Oh, they got their
Oh, there
coppers
is
on
a
the
purpose.
on the. I forgot about the archive map. Um,
Yeah, I don't. These poor houses look really awkward right now, especially for Yuri because of the lack of village effects all around.
well, so both of them are going to hit five here. I would think taking the $5 action is better than trashing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just supposed to take Hunting Lodge as many times as possible at this point,
Indeed.
and maybe we take a broker at some point because we are gaining stuff with inventors that we don't necessarily want. And it looks like this is working out for Marin a lot
Marin's
better.
getting excellent draws here. Yurikamome, by contrast, is looking at a pretty sad hand. Iris,
Yeah,
the in the opening, they so Marin had a 5-2, and Yurikamome chose to turn their opening to a 5-2. And in the early game, the poor houses are just a cheap way to get way of the goat. So that seems reasonable.
yeah, but we didn't really play to that way of the goats. That I'm not sure about that second arc. That didn't feel right.
I don't recall the game state at the time that it happened, but two archives doesn't seem ridiculous to me on the face of it.
Yeah, I mean, we had. Did we have an inventor? I know the fact that we have had a poor house, which is way of the goat. Uh, in our deck at that stage just doesn't makes me feel like we want a village and we didn't have a village. Yeah.
So winning the inventor split does not seem super important to me. I do want to make sure that I end up with 4 inventors. That's a crucial number because 4 inventors is what you need to make. Wait, is that's not even true? No.
No, you
For some
need
reason, I was thinking
two.
you need to make province cost 4. You only need 2 inventors because province just needs to cost 6. Yeah, you could theoretically live just fine with 2 inventors and a bunch of duplicates. Um,
You probably want more than two because you want more gains. No.
yeah, so like more than 2 inventors is surely good for the deck, but I actually don't care that much about the inventor split at all. So like this is not a situation where I'm like better get them before they're gone.
Yeah. Yurikamome still has that estate.
I I think a broker would not be a bad card for Yurikamome. The state and the silver both look like pretty good targets. Uh,
And you have to trash them anyway at some point because they're negative points.
yep.
I
Favors
think this
wouldn't be a
is
terrible
all.
thing to get if you have the actions to spare. At least get one turn where you get to set aside a bunch of your junk. I'm not saying like you need broker here. I don't think I would think about it.
This, this might already be territory, or we are thinking about pilots for Marin if they draw a good hand.
What's the
Which
third pile?
duplicate. You you gain a bunch of. I guess maybe we don't have enough village effects, but you gain a bunch of duplicates. You and then you play them, and then you buy a duplicate, and the pile
Uh,
disappears.
do you know what the village split is? Is it 5-4?
Mm, Be more lopsided. Marin has six.
Okay, so it's 6-4. Okay, so as Marin, you could theoretically play uh, 7 terminals, which if they're all inventor and or duplicate, gives you 8 gains. Uh, that doesn't sound like enough.
Mm, if you gain a broker with the first inventor,
Mm.
and then you trash, you have nothing to trash, right?
So let's say you manage to stack your deck like that. I don't think this is like practically possible, but you gain a broker. Yeah, what's the most expensive? There's no expensive card you can afford to trash because your hunting lodges you need for village. So
I
maybe
mean, you could trash a hunting lodge for 4 actions, and that's more than two
uh,
actions. So that's something. But
let's say
yeah,
I don't think it's practically possible. Like you broker an inventor, let's say that's like 2 villages, but you spent 1 inventor play gaining it. Maybe you eke out 1 extra gain from that with like a ideal shuffle. I'm not even sure that's possible. Um, I don't think there was a pile out risk.
wait, we needed. Oh no, we needed duplicates right for that. Oh, we just gained a bunch of one-offs this Marin. Um,
Yeah,
Not sure that this is the time to be gaining one-offs.
I'm a little confused by the late archive. Archive is excellent early in the game, but now you're at the stage of the game where archive can be a little bit annoying because when your deck is well trashed, a big risk you have, especially with multiple archives, is you play the archive, you reveal 2 or 3 good cards, like say 3 hunting lodges or 2 hunting lodges and inventor. Well, you're at most picking up one of those this turn, and so a bunch of your good cards are stuck out of play, and then you can't use them all. And so, like that's great when the deck is full of junk, like estates and coppers, because then you're not only drawing but keeping your junk hidden. But at this point, it's not necessarily a good thing. So I
I
I
think
like
we
I get
managed
taking
to
more
line up our
villages,
deck.
but taking more archives surprises me.
I mean, I think Marin managed to line up their deck in such a way so that this is not an issue. Uh, because I don't think this setting aside 3 coppers was an unlikely outcome here. Uh, the way the archives were gained.
How do you line that up?
Well, mm, they played most of their deck. They like shuffled a bunch of junk with Hunting Lodge, and then they gained the archive into that. Uh, so like they triggered a shuffle, which was uh some good cards, like a little bit of good cards, 2 archives, and a bunch of coppers. This turn. So like it wasn't 100% to line it up, but it was a good shuffle to play some archives.
Double province doesn't. Do you need to double province right now? I feel like you don't.
Mm,
I'm looking at another
you're at
bandit
minus.
camp, and maybe a duplicate. The duplicate is negative points, but the bandit camp is positive points.
Mm, what are the one-offs for Yuri? It's duplicate, four house, and I mean those are pretty easy to get rid of.
Silver state, I think.
Wolverine or Silver Estate, yeah, those are a little bit harder because you have to trash them. I guess you could gain an estate or silver. Uh yeah, I mean the double province is really defensive, but I feel like Marin is far enough ahead here that the only way they lose is to some nonsense pilot. I don't really hate that unless 6 provinces is likely, but I don't think so. Oh, wait. Archive is really bad, I just realized, because you set aside a bunch of coppers and then you put them into your hand for Hunting Lodge to discard. Uh, that is awkward.
So maybe are they going for the pilot? Perhaps. I was a little surprised they didn't just trash this copper, but maybe they are not thinking about trashing. Maybe they're thinking about winning. In which case,
In which case, I'd still want to trash the copper because we're gonna have to discard this hand. Yeah.
well, I don't know what they're thinking. When I saw them play the inventor instead of the copper, I was thinking, oh, you're just going for duplicate pile out, and you need to play all your inventors to have enough gains for that. And so, why do you care about trashing a copper if there's not going to be another turn? The bandit camp looks like
Mm,
someone who wants another turn, in which case, I don't know, thinning a copper seems like not a bad idea.
I mean, I'm worried that we're gonna draw into that copper anyway here with triggering a bunch of shuffles with
It,
Hunting Lodge.
if you're planning to get multiple turns, I'm totally on board with trashing the copper.
Now we're gonna shuffle multiple times this turn, and all of our junk cards are going to be in those shuffles, so we
Right, but it costs
really need.
terminal space to trash the copper, and so if you needed that terminal space to play all your inventors for a pile up, that would be a reason not to bother trashing the copper.
Unless I don't think we need all of that terminal space though. Like we like almost have all the terminal space here. Hmm. Yeah, we might be going just for the provinces too. I know. I'm not really sure. This is not. Oh, yeah. This is like the reason why I wanted to trash the copper. Do not flip into a hand like this.
Yeah, I think 5 provinces seems good enough to be winning.
Yeah.
like it's not like a kingdom where 5 provinces means you win on its own. Because you could easily beat like a money player who got 5 provinces with provinces and duchies there. But 5 provinces is enough that your opponent's going to take at least 2 to 3 turns to beat that, and 2 to 3 turns is enough for you to finish off the last few.
Especially because Yurikamome's deck was nowhere near the position to do the provinces.
All right,
Oh.
so that's
Yurikamome trashed 0 coppers and only 2 sticks that game.
yeah. I got the impression that Marin was getting better draws there in the early middle game. They also had the natural 2-5, which is better, at least given what Yuri Kamome opened. I'm not sure if that was the correct opening from them, but if you were going to open that anyway, you'd rather have the 2-5. Anyways, we got a kingdom here. We got tower. Nothing super pily to make a tower rush viable. We got draw with hunting party or encampment. We got mini stacks of villages. Trashing, you got mint to trash coppers. No way to trash estates at all. You could kind of skip by estates if you play artisan to top deck an estate, then play farming village. That's something, but it's not everything. You have plenty of plus buying gains: artisan, nomads, messenger, wine merchant, town. Yeah, the trashing is a little bit light, but otherwise this kingdom looks pretty reasonable. Opening mint encampment can draw your deck turn 3. Yeah, that checks out. So Steph really wants the 4-3. What's great about the 4-3?
Do we want to open
Okay,
flag on the 4-3?
4-3. I'm thinking. What am I thinking about the 4-3? Yeah, I think. Hmm. Do you open flag? Huh. I think about this. So turn 1, you buy flag bearer. Turn 2, one scenario is you draw a flag bearer and then you hit 5 turn 2. One scenario is you draw the estate, which is actually great because then you hit 6 turn 3. A 2/3 chance that you're drawing a copper, in which case you're hitting 4 again. 4 is okay, but nothing to write home about. Then you hit 5 turn 3, but you're triggering a shuffle? Or are you? I gotta think about this. Yeah, 2-5 would be awesome. You just save a copper and buy an artisan, and then you're really happy. I don't know. I guess I don't know what you do on 4-3. I would be thinking hard about what a flag bearer opening looks like. Wow. uh, Look at this.
Um,
Wait.
that what?
So artisan is the gut
Wait, did
reaction, but I'm like seriously thinking about a mint. You mint 6 coppers. You got 5 money next turn. Uh, yeah, probably artisan is. Oh, is mint so sure? Steph wants the mint. If I had 6 in hand
he
next turn, then yeah, artisan in a heartbeat. You buy the mint. What are you buying turn 4? You play your mint. You play your
he
wine
could
merchant, and then you
he could messenger for a village and
messenger
no,
silver. Then you're hitting
oh
5
no, you don't need
again.
a village. No, I
Wait, are you
it's
even hitting
in
5?
my mind the wine merchant stayed in the deck, which really doesn't. Uh,
I don't know. This is not obvious. So you buy the mint, you messenger silver. You're not even all that likely to hit 5 because you'd have to draw messenger silver and copper, any of which could bottom deck. Um, this is actually a tough choice. Like early mint 6 coppers seems so great, but I'm struggling to explain how that gets to 6. If I saw an easy path to hit 6 after this, I would definitely take it, but I don't. Very tricky. I think I'm leaning towards buy the artisan, gain some hunting parties, and this mint will happen sooner or later.
There's
If someone can explain
preferably
how
money.
a mint buy here gets you to 6 money, then I'd be on much more on board with a mint buy. Flag. So you could save a copper, buy a flag bearer, then you are guaranteed to hit 7 next turn. Not guaranteed. You could draw the flag bearer, I guess. Um, you're guaranteed to hit at least 6 next turn, and very likely to hit 7. Uh, I don't think that's better to me. I think I would just buy the artisan because the benefit of hitting 6 next turn is you're buying artisan, and if you buy artisan now, you can buy hunting party next turn. All right, we're gonna see how the mint works out. I think I'm on team artisan. You buy artisan turn 3, you buy hunting lodge, you buy hunting party turn 4, and now you're playing that artisan every turn for the next few turns. You're gonna get that mint trash soon enough. I think I like the artisan. Maybe they have found a line that I didn't see, but I think the difficulty here is how are you getting to 6 with like once you play as wine merchant, you only have very little payload.
Yeah, I'm preferring the artisan more too, but that's because I don't see the line that hits 6 yet. And
Probably
maybe there is one.
your best bet is either you buy silver, probably.
Yeah.
I think silver.
Yeah,
Nomad
but
silver.
if we buy
What are you doing the nomads? You don't have a village.
yeah, nomads is just a woodcutter here. Trash it.
Yeah, I think silver here seems best. And then you're guaranteed to get 6 by turn 6 at the latest. I'm seeing 50%, 40% for hitting 6 next turn. Well, let's see. So they have, provided they buy silver, they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in deck. Wine merc. What the? I'm interesting.
Why do we want to? I guess there are villages in the kingdom, so maybe having them is fine, and but you have to have them sit on the tavern mat.
I expect their next buy is going to be save a card, buy an encampment, and they're just taking the line that gets them to 6 turn 6. Uh, like the silver buy there also gets you guaranteed 6 by turn 6 because if you don't see both the wine merchant and the silver, you just save the one that you did see and they line up next turn. This I think is guaranteed or probably extremely close to it. Maybe you could have bottomed the encampment. Uh, it doesn't have any chance of hitting 6 on turn 5, which I think is the big downside relative to silver. But the upside of this double wine merchant thing is you have another wine merchant in your deck, which is probably a better card to have than a silver.
Yeah.
I'm I'm still thinking turn 6 or turn 3 artisan feels better. Like you're going to a lot of effort just to get to 6 here, putting some weird stuff in your deck. And you could have had a few hunting parties by now, and then if you have hunting parties, you don't care about trashing the coppers this early. That's my thinking at least. I could be wrong.
I mean, maybe Wine Merchant's a good payload card here. Anyway.
Meanwhile, we haven't looked at what Marin did at all. So they opened Silver Flag Bearer, and they bought a town, and they bought an. That's all sounding pretty good so far. They bottom decked the Artisan, which is, well, not bottom deck, but they didn't top deck their Artisan, which is a little bit sad. Never
Yeah.
mind. Well, it's okay. We'll just get lucky. Problem solved. Ooh, what's down there? It's just junk, right? One copper.
There is
Oh
a
wait,
flag.
there's something. Oh, the flag bearer. Dang it! If this didn't have the flag bearer, then playing hunting party here would be great because you'd clear out that whole deck. Probably do that anyway.
Yeah. Alright.
Yep.
Plus the whole deck.
So now, do we want a second
Weird.
artisan?
Yeah. I mean, this is not a good mint yet, I don't
Oh,
think.
certainly not. No, no question. It's not mid. It's either artisan or hunting party. They went the artisan. Okay. The hunting party is a little bit more modest in its ambitions, but you're pretty guaranteed to have a good turn. The second artisan gives you a chance of having a real good turn if you manage to find an artisan and a in your one village.
Yeah, but how likely is that really?
There you go. There it is.
Alright. Well,
So now you gain a hunting party and you're 50-50, a little higher than that to find your other artisan. Yep, yep. Yeah, there
yeah.
you go. Now top deck
Okay.
hunting party by hunting party.
Alright, right. Yurikamome has a gold in their deck. How did that happen?
They want encampments.
Alright, I was gonna say Marin needs plus buy, but I don't.
They got plus buy.
Probably
That's a
not
town.
necessarily. Yeah, they do. Right. Yeah, they have enough gains that that's probably not necessarily. Oh my.
Gotta find your
Oh
town.
my goodness,
There we go.
Marin.
Yeah, I think this is what Yuri Kamame's deck could have been doing. The hunting party just has a way of drawing pretty darn well because it skips all the bad cards. Uh, yeah, you've trashed all your coppers, but at what cost?
So we could play this town, play both artisans. Top deck put the flagbearer at the bottom of our deck. So that we can play one hunting party and not trigger the shuffle. And what's the other 5? Could be a wine merchant.
Well, I would just top deck the hunting party, right?
Um, you could. Wait.
So top deck a
Need to
hunting
top deck
party, gain a
two
plus buy
things.
card. I don't know which plus buy card you're gaining. Uh,
I guess you can top deck the flagbearer hunting party. Probably better.
hmm. Top deck hunting
Uh,
party, gain nomads and play it by 2 hunting parties. A lot of options here.
I think
How are you gaining and playing a gold next turn? Am I missing a way to gain gold?
Yuri can probably get the gold that way, but
Oh, we're discussing Yuri's turn. I see, I see. I follow. Okay. Yeah, as Yuri, I'm surely playing Wine Merchant, right? Like, Encampment is a much better card to have in your deck than gold. Or most of these cards are much better than gold, so I'd rather the plus buy. Yuri just looks dead to me.
yeah, just I mean they're gonna have encampments. They're gonna have four encampments at the end of this turn, but
Maybe?
I don't know, Marin can just never trash these coffers, I think. Like, maybe they do. I don't know.
As Marin,
Also,
would
Marin might
trash the
get good.
coppers at some point. I'm not in a rush to do it, but I also would not mind having a mint because mint's just an easy way to add a bunch of payload eventually. So I probably would trash the coppers once you get a good mint lineup as Marin. Like you're not adding treasure based payload in the short term, so it's not like you're gonna risk trashing your golds or anything, and maybe you trash your silver, but who cares about that? Okay, so it looks like they're doing something very similar. I was thinking top deck hunting party gain nomads and play it because you still hit 10 and 2 buys, but the nomads is in your deck next turn. The wine merchant stays on the mat if you buy 2/5 costs, which I would think is worse because I think you want plus buy going to next shuffle. Maybe Marin just does not want to have an extra stop card in the deck next shuffle. Or maybe they just didn't care about hitting 10. Okay, that's also a fair reason, I suppose. No, it's not.
Mm,
If you only wanted 8, this should have been Town, because Town is more flexible than Wine Merchant by a large margin, and Town would get you to 8.
yeah.
So if you're buying Encampment Gold, which gross, I would have taken Town.
I mean, you could take the wine merchant. Well, this way you get the wine merchant back. Uh, which if you only cared about hitting 8, maybe you want the wine merchant over the town.
Why?
I don't. No, probably not. It also has a different name, so it messes up your hunting parties.
Yeah, like I just want to not dead here. I don't think I care about this Encampment Gold business as Marin at all.
I mean, I may care about plunder because mint plunder is a way to add payload, way
Yeah,
more efficient.
you can get the gold after you mint some golds.
Yeah, but like,
Ha
I
ha ha
don't
ha ha
see
ha!
much of a
Oh,
reason to care about
who's
that.
a stop card now, wine merchant? This is self-imposed. I feel so vindicated. Look at
We
this
can still
thing
gain
that
a hunting party and
this.
play it.
Wait, wait. How are you getting a hunting party here and playing it?
You have an artisan in here? Oh wait,
In one
we don't have
action.
a village. Oh,
You could have had a
sorry.
village if you had gained yourself a town.
Yeah. Okay, this. Oh, this looks really awkward.
I just,
Yikes.
I, I personally really appreciate this hand. Look at gold being a stop card and wine merchant being a stop card. All of this unnecessary suffering could have been averted if we just stuck to our plan of taking all the hunting parties. Hunting party will not fail you.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, stuff. It's like, no, the wine merchants.
Playing the wine merchant is also shocking to me. How is this better than playing the artisan? I'm confused.
Um, I guess this artisan is probably gaining a hunt party
Okay,
next turn because we know we have a village there.
yeah,
But still,
I guess if these are your buys, I I don't think I would have. If you're buying Encampment and Plunder, I think I follow it. Like conditional on that being the buys you wanted. Neither of those is a card you really want to top deck without the other, so there's less benefit of playing the artisan immediately. I wasn't thinking about buying Encampment and Plunder here.
yeah, me neither.
I would have just top decked another hunting party. I get yurikamome going into encampments given their early start. They already had a mint, which made adding a gold look better, and they had little money, which made encampment look necessary because it's only a cheap card. I don't understand why Marin is as focused on encampments as they seem to be. Two plunders. Ew. Why would you want two plunders? What is this?
I know. I kind of want
I hate
Panic Party.
Iris. This is your fault. You've confused poor Yuri Kamame into buying or gaining two plunder. What?
They could gain another two plunders, but
Why do you want plunders in your deck?
I don't know.
You don't have deck control. You don't need more treasures. Four plunders sounds so terrible. I cannot stress how much I hate that.
Yeah, two plunders, two honey parties is something that I can get more behind.
I can't get behind any plunders. Why would you ever want a plunder in this scenario?
If the honey party is enough draw, which I assume we have encampments down there in these three cards.
Like, if you want more treasures, just get golds.
Is gold better than plunder here?
Well, you've already got a mint and a gold, so it has the advantage of not wasting valuable gains on acquiring it. Like, if I had a plunder and
Oh,
not a gold in my deck, then I'd say, yeah, sure, get plunders. It doesn't make much of a difference either way. I just don't want to waste real gains on treasures. Uh, you can get your treasures off of the mint plays.
we have two wine merchants on the mat, so we don't really want to spend. And right,
I
no,
guess we do.
I guess we
Plunder is quite important.
maybe
I
this.
could not agree less, Dan. How is plunder important?
Yeah, plunder is just points, but you can get points pretty quickly in this kingdom with just adding payload
Yep.
efficiently. More honey parties. That's 10 points that yurikamome left to us, and it's also good card that draws our entire deck. I mean, it's gonna draw us the white merchant here, but in principle, it draws the entire deck.
There's still a chance. Okay, here we go. We could have a real turn here. Oh, well, sad. Mint time? Yeah, definitely mint time. Do you kill the silver?
Absolutely. Um,
I'm on the fence about whether the silver should die or not. I'm gonna say I don't know.
mm, we have a wine merchant. We have a flat. Oh, we played a plunder, don't we?
Why'd you even gain the plunder if you're just gonna trash it? Or worse, what if you're not gonna trash it? Okay, so we all want the silver to die. All right, I'll trust the democratic consensus. Let's kill the silver. And apparently the plunder, it scored us a point, and that's all we wanted out of it. God, this is Lemon Spawn would be rolling in his grave right now at these plunder gains. You just, oh, that is. This card is not that good.
I mean, the monument card is not good. So, like,
Could have trashed
this card's not much better.
seven treasures
Not
there.
worse. Uh,
I still think Marin looks very ahead, but this is how you let your opponent back in the game by causing yourself to dud a bunch of times. Wine Merchant does not seem better than the other plus buy cards here. If you want to buy two things, Town is probably your best bet.
what do we have down there? Do we have anything good in these three cards?
That's a good question. We got a copper down there. I'm guessing they have another encampment. I think they got one more encampment down there.
Okay,
And have they
well,
minted a gold yet? No, they haven't. How have they not minted a gold this game? Oh, because they keep playing the wine merchant because they keep not having villages. That's right.
bingo. Hey, it's draw time.
Is it draw time? We just added a bunch of stop cards to our deck. I kind of suspect it's dud time.
Yeah, I guess we did discard three wine merchants.
Did you really want all those wine merchants in your deck? Like at this exact moment? Are you sure?
Did you want all of these wine merchants in your deck at all?
Okay. So
No, we can't gain a honey party anymore with the artisan.
you can draw
Hmm.
on by gaining a farming village, which you should do. Seems like the clear play.
Yeah.
You just tap like a state. Oh, you could draw in a little bit more.
Well,
My. Is it not the consequences of our own actions that we are facing right now?
yeah. It turns out drawing for 7 coppers is difficult when uh you only have so many draw cards in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know. Province in a farming
Yes.
village?
At this point, I'm sad about the way that I've played this game, and I want it to end, so I want to double provinces, Marin.
What's the rush to double? What is the second province doing for you? Your opponent's not piling out and taking a points lead.
Gets me closer to ending the game on provinces. I don't know. Probably not good, but
Oh, flag.
oh, we
I think
can.
flag looks reasonable too. I didn't even notice about they didn't have the flag anymore. Wow,
Oh,
we
no.
sure drew a lot of cards here.
We didn't even draw any of the swine merchants. Oh,
I I can empathize with the allure of the early mint. I It is so easy to succumb to this trap. It's like I can trash all my coppers, and then you realize that trashing all your coppers and not your estates is always a recipe for disaster. This happens so often. The early mint always looks so good and it always backfires. It's like opening with, or not, I got an opening with count isn't so bad. It's like most of the times where you go to trash with count thinking it's going to be like chapel, and then you just realize how much worse than chapel count really is.
something, something along those lines.
Alrighty,
I
farming
mean,
village.
the chapel. It's a chapel that missed a shuffle, right? Like that's the problem. and trash is one less.
It
Like,
it
oh,
it trashes
not
less,
as
and it
good.
also Count has a lot more trouble than Chapel cleaning up the rest of your cards. Like Chapel, you're often trashing for the first time, and then maybe like a few the next few times. Count, it's all or nothing, and so you're often still stuck with some junk.
Yeah, I mean, it has like the same problem, and it's even worse because the states are always there, so you don't have any economy on top of still having junk.
What is yurikamome thinking about right now?
Mm. I, maybe he expected the opponent's turn to take a little bit longer.
Farming village.
Um, I suppose. Um, what?
We don't want a free village.
This is
That just
this 16. I count that.
I don't. Why don't you just get a village?
I I guess we missed the interaction, but our opponent did it, so I don't know how did we miss it. Mm,
What does a win look like for
I think you
yurikamome?
just have to click on province here because if our opponent doubles, we're completely dead anyway, I think.
Hmm. Well, look at
Well,
this.
this hand,
To be fair, they top decked a flag bearer, so they looked at a deck that had no draw left in it and added another stop card on top.
that is true. So this hand was like 100%, yeah. Oh,
I,
oh well.
I am dissatisfied with how this kingdom has been played.
I wonder if Marin knows that this hand's there. Probably not because there are green cards, but
It don't make much of a difference. They should be able to win here. Well, I don't know about win-win, but double province is functionally winning.
yeah. And
They might be able to triple. I wouldn't rule it out. Not without counting, at least. Gain some wine merchants off of your artisans, and maybe they get you there.
and click on your draw cards.
I don't know what else in
Yeah,
the
I don't think
discard.
you're.
At the moment, I'm thinking about, yeah, playing the artisan first, so that when I play the hunting party, it will find my other artisan.
Oh, okay. We want to skip over the state. Smart. We could have skipped over the province so that the hunting party doesn't do that. But sure.
Yeah, I think actually top taking that estate was a failure. They're realizing that now. Well, so I guess first let's just see if this wins. Probably not, right? We got 7, 9, 13, 17, 21. Is this just a win right here? Um, 7, 9, 13, 17, 21. Yeah, I think that you just play all this, you'll get to 23 or 20, 25. Um,
Hey. All right, we did it. And Marin's up for you.
Indeed.
Hmm. I guess yurikamome might get interviewed after they get eliminated after all.
That'll be so sad. Okay, what do we have here? It's 3-0 for Marin. The only village is sacrifice. That looks tricky. Uh,
Um, there are ways to gain things with Volcanier, so
yeah, I
there's
mean,
no
you could.
efficient draw.
Yeah, this looks tough. Maybe I mean, Marin in their interview did say that like building difficult engines. So you could trigger a bunch of falconers to gain a bunch of cheap action cards, sacrifice them for a village effect, and then use that to play Sea Witch for draw, and then you're getting somewhere. But then what's the end goal? Plus buy is also awkward. Capital is like okay, but not a great source of large quantities of plus
There's
buy.
Herbalist Capital,
That's not a real thing.
which, yeah. I mean, you can top deck the capitals and then discard them with Sea Witch, and
Ah,
not the worst.
actually, maybe I spoke too soon. This kingdom is really weak. I won't rule out Herbalist Capital. Maybe that could be a thing here. Just given the dearth of alternatives. I'm gonna say probably not still because I want my terminal to be Sea Witch, and Herbalist is a terminal card. But it
I
there's
don't.
not nothing else.
There's,
Maybe you get funky and you try Herbalist Capital.
yeah, I don't. I could see playing with Falconer and trying to. Well, the problem with Falconer is that the only cards that activated are 5 plus or Young Witch.
Church is neither 5 cost nor Young Witch.
Oh, there's Church too, right?
Yeah, I think something along the lines of what RTT is saying sounds good. Um, uh, Sea Witchins, is that how one pluralizes it? Um, yeah, Fisherman looks reasonably good, and probably Sea Witch is the best terminal here. Maybe one capital. Probably one capital is the amount of capitals I want. Some amount of plus buy is good, and it helps the end game. Maybe two capitals. Probably one capital. I think Sea Witches, two Sea Witches, a bunch of fishermen, a singular capital, and some amount of treasure, and then you start greening. I think is what I'm looking at. All right, Steph says Witch now. What is going on? Yeah, sure. Witch now seems good.
Okay, which now for Marin? Okay, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just the Witch. And this. It is somewhat awkward to fin if your only finner is Churches and you're getting Sea Witched because you're not actually eh, like you're not actually pinning cards over multiple turns. If they are playing a Sea Witch every turn, you're playing one Church every turn.
Yeah, Sea Witch is cursing about as fast as Church is trashing. Uh,
I guess Spice Merchant thins your coffers, so that helps.
I think you're
Fair bit.
still like I don't think you're at risk of getting drowned in junk. I think the Sea Witch is mostly just stopping you from getting thin as fastly as you otherwise would. But the Church is a good trasher. Sea Witch is a good junker. Um,
Yeah. Eureka Mommy does not have a Sea Witch, and I don't see a whole lot of economy in their deck either.
it's set
I
aside, isn't it?
guess we,
There's the economy.
yeah, I guess we can get the. Oh, Okay, we're not gonna get the sewage.
Just a fisherman here.
Yeah, at this point you probably don't get the witch. Hmm.
All right.
This
Herbalist capital time for yurikamome. I'm feeling it.
yeah, I suppose like we have a terminal space, so why not?
I would think capital here. Well, no, you can get a goal. Like, the obvious reason for capital was plus buy, but you do have a spice merchant, which you could use for that purpose. Hmm.
You also have a sewage that you're playing every other turn.
I was thinking about next turn. I haven't thought 2 turns ahead yet. What card do you want next turn as Marin? Hmm.
I mean, capital is also a whole bunch of econ next turn.
Okay,
Oh,
second Sea Witch. They just want to attack a bunch. I don't hate it. Seems reasonable.
well, the problem is we're not like this attack doesn't do anything because Yuri is drawing deck already. I think.
It does something. I mean, like if Yuri's drawing deck by playing Spice Merchant for draw, you're stopping her from getting +2 coins, +1 buy.
True. But this might be a capital, and
I
then the plus buy there.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I want to see the Sea Witch versus Herbalist Capital showdown. I don't know if that makes sense, but do it for the spectators, if nothing else.
I mean, I think it does. Like this, the sewage is not effective here with how quickly Yuri has trashed, and Marin is also going to be trashed pretty quickly. So yeah,
I Oh, is this bottom card a second? No, it's not a second fisherman. Is it? It is a capper.
there was a second fisherman I thought.
Oh, it is a second fisherman. I thought it was Yuri who had the second fisherman.
Yeah, so that
Oh, that is awkward.
is
Not drawing your fisherman.
yeah.
That makes a big difference here, doesn't it?
Yeah, we can buy a fisherman, so
Yeah,
not
I like
bad.
Steph's line. Set aside 2 coppers, buy fisherman. You'll be hitting 5 next turn. Well, actually,
And Marin's not going to struggle to hit 5. They have 3 fishermen in their deck.
well, 2 at the moment. They could have 3.
Yeah, sure. I guess they might play some other line. I'm not seeing the other line or seeing any other lines, right? Oh, we okay. I guess we could just add the capital straight up. All right.
So that was 50-50 to work. Is that right? Or is it less than that? Or more than that?
Mm, I think it was 50-50. Yeah, the only cards in the
Yeah,
discard would
yeah.
be copper and yes. Oh, wait, why did we get a sewage now?
Peer pressure.
Can we undo that by real quick?
Yeah, this is Puka all over again. Was Marin the first one to get Puka as well? I think so, right? Oh, or
Uh,
was it Yuri who
I
got
don't
Puka first?
remember.
That was the game where they both felt like they were.
Yuri, okay, RDT says it was Yuri. I'll believe him. Okay, we undid. Oh no. Oh,
Rules wise.
wait,
Oh,
why?
oh my God, that is that. It doesn't work anymore, does it? I totally forgot that. Okay, well that changes everything. Well, it doesn't change everything. It changes the specific desire I had to see Herbalist Capital. It doesn't work anymore.
Wait, when you. Oh,
Once this
because
turn,
it
when you
says
discard a treasure from play, you may put it under your deck. So yeah, this
you
is
still
different.
discard it.
Herbalist used to top deck the treasure when you discarded the Herbalist. Now it top decks the treasure
Oh,
when you discard the treasure. So you still discarded the treasure, so you still get the debt. So the way this worked until recently was if you top deck the capital with Herbalist, you'd never take the debt because you never discarded the capital from play. So you just like circumvent the debt part. But it actually doesn't work anymore. Okay, so yeah, we were just barking up the wrong tree entirely. Um, okay, that's big. Disregard everything up until just now.
yeah, I would have totally bought the Herbalist and then tried to pop deck the capital with it,
Oh,
and
that would have been
then
tragic.
would have
Yeah.
really snapped.
What a way to go out. Imagine you're down three and you go for Herbalist Capital only to discover that the rules have changed and the rug was pulled out from under you. Uh, I also, this totally came up in some game I played a while back. I remember, I don't know, like a month or two ago, trying Herbalist Capital for like the first time ever on the ladder. And sure enough, it was right after the rules had changed. And I was like, I'm finally gonna play Herbalist Capital. And then after like 4 years of never ever doing this, um, turns out it doesn't exist anymore by the time I tried to play it. Uh,
I had that with Connie House Traveling for where people were talking about it. I never knew how it works, and then after the counting house got removed, deprecated, whatever, uh, then that was the time when I tried it for the first time. I was like, oh, when do we pick up sacrifice? I was imagining never.
yeah, I don't think that the terminals are good enough to warrant sacrifice here. Like you had Bridge Troll or something, and you're playing with a bunch of sacrifices. But all that sacrifice is letting you do is play multiple sea witches per turn, and that's a Herculean amount of effort to go through to get a little bit more draw.
Uh, I'm not sure that they signal sacrifice. And I'm not sure what do they signal, but like, Right. Did we get all of these capitals to buy multiple fishermen for two, and then we didn't realize?
Well, we've already established it's not the worst rules confusion you could make here. I'm gonna be honest. Additional fishermen here does not seem bad. I don't know that it's the obvious buy, but I'd be okay with buying two more fishermen.
Yeah, just be sad that we are having so much debt.
Yep. Yeah, like if I could undo the second capital buy, I would do that. But now that we got it, fisherman seems okay to me. Could also take a second church now. It is bugging me that Marin's only got the one church. I feel like you generally want two of those.
Oh yeah, our opponent does have these annoying sea witches at this point, so we might want to not get drowned in junk.
Yeah, so they do go with the double fisherman.
Mm, I don't like how we discarded the estate instead of setting this aside with a church.
Let's see what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe we're keeping this estate around because
Well,
yeah,
we top decked it
there's
anyway, so
no.
problem solved.
After all the fishermen are gone, uh, what are we doing?
Uh, like two golds and then greening, maybe something like that.
Yeah, sounds not very exciting, but
It is not.
yeah,
I feel
this
like
is just this kind.
Marin has the lead right now. I'm not certain.
They're mostly even. I guess Marin has six fishermen, and that is a lot more than Yuri has.
Yeah, I mean, I like having a bunch of the fishermen. I would take the last two here. I think. Sure, the second one costs you five, but it denies your opponent a cheap fisherman. RTT just wants the one, and then what? Fisherman gold, fisherman debt.
No, I like two. Like this game lasts five more turns for this to pay off.
Oh, Steph wants fisherman church. I could get behind that. I was saying a second church seems good. Would
I
your
mean,
opponent have played it two times?
I feel like I will play my fisherman five times. Like this game is gonna bust a bit. Now, do we have anything for our spice merchant to trash? Or we
For
have the
Marin
copper
or for Yuri?
from Marin?
They set aside a
Oh,
copper,
we have
didn't they?
one more. Yeah, okay, we have one more copper. Okay, yeah, I okay, so Marin is both more clean and how did that happen?
Uh, are they cleaner? I don't know. I feel like Yuri's deck is functioning a little bit better, but they have less payload.
I mean, Marin has trashed more cards, right? Like,
Uh, Yuri's got the double church station going.
yeah, but Marin is going to have that right here.
Well, they don't have a second church.
But they're probably going to get it right now, right?
Maybe.
Imagine.
I mean, you can take it now, but it's not really helping you at the moment. You have to set aside the second church with the first church anyway.
True. Yeah, maybe you just get golds and you get the church with the province or something. Oh,
Interesting.
wait, we
So
wanted this copper? Yeah,
they they,
10?
they want the payload, which I mean they're thin enough that it might just be that a copper in your deck is better than nothing. I thought they were contemplating trashing the copper for 2 coins.
Yeah. I was contemplating that too, but I feel like this is just gold silver, right? Bing, gold church. Hmm.
Hmm, it's a good question. Gold sacrifice. What's the sacrifice doing? You can kill the spice merchant productively.
It could kill those fishermen. You really want.
I don't. This seems reasonable. Just gold nothing.
Did we really want to trash the copper though? Like, did we really want to have the copper done words?
I think keeping the copper was okay. Like when you have a spice merchant in your deck, having 1 copper left is potentially less bad than having no coppers left, because provided you line up the spice merchant and the copper, which see which will help you do, those are collectively 0 stop cards, whereas just a spice merchant is 1 stop card. So the copper is both 1 money immediately and also kind of reducing the number of stop cards you have the following turn.
Okay.
And like I think the long term goal is just to kill the spice merchant with one of your churches, but not Yuri, Marin still has curses to trash with the church. So if your spice merchant's gonna be around for a minute anyway, the copper's okay. Steph is upset with me. Explain.
I mean,
If
in
if
a
if
hand
I
like
thought I
this,
could trash the spice merchant next turn, I would do that. But Marin, like the spice merchant, is not high on the docket for trashing. They got 1 church and multiple curses left. So that spice merchant's not getting trashed for a few more turns. Once I can trash the spice merchant, well, yeah, sure, just get rid of it. Oh, were you wanting to sacrifice the sea witches? Well, no. I was about to say, oh, the sea witches have kind of run your course. I guess you can get rid of them now. But then it occurred to me, what else are you doing then? I'm not even sure the sea witch isn't still just the best terminal, even with no curses around.
yeah, I don't. Hmm.
Ooh, five is awkward. What are you about in five? I don't know.
I mean,
Innkeeper.
someone could still fall for the herbalist capital trap. But,
Innkeeper feels like more sifting than you need right now. You have 2 sea witches and 2 churches. That seems like a lot of reliability.
you say that, but these decks are not actually reliable. They're not.
I mean, that's
fully drawn.
true. I'm unsure. Silver, Falconer.
Why do you want a falconer?
I don't know. Gain
Right.
a sacrifice, kill off the spice merchant and then the sea witches, and then you use the falconer to mostly gain silvers. And if I'm trashing the sea witches, then I could add an innkeeper. Yuri wants a second capital. Okay.
Mhm. Right, now do we keep, I guess we do keep this copper around. Trash it. And that's fair because we want to have uh, treasures in our discard.
Um, I'm not convinced that trashing the copper was good yet. Same reasoning. You didn't need it for drawing this turn. Keep it around for use next turn. You would have one more money here, and you would have one less stop card next turn.
Yeah, but then we dotted in between and we didn't collide the spice merchant with the copper, so maybe we decided that reasoning isn't actually no.
To be fair,
No.
they don't have a church right now, um, for this upcoming turn, but they do have a sea witch down.
How much real econ do we have? 11?
They had 19 minus 12 debt they're gonna take, so 7.
But they had that from the previous turn. Yeah, we have a
Oh,
fisherman and one
I
wolf.
see, I
So yeah,
see. They'd already paid off debt. I didn't account for that.
yeah. So how much do we want to? We probably want to have like. Hmm, okay. Normally, I'd say we want to have 16, but with the capitals, does it change anything? Not sure. Uh,
As Marin, I'm really thinking about a second church. That you really want it for not this turn, but the following turn. And so, yeah, I mean, look at this. They took one debt for no reason. If you were gonna buy that copper, then you should have just not trashed the copper, because then you would have had one more money this turn. You could have paid off one more debt.
we didn't take
Oh,
any debt though.
actually, well, then you could have bought something. I don't know. Like, it's
Yeah.
that was a little odd to me.
Uh, I feel like that should have been a church.
It should have been something, I would think.
You just get the church. That you don't have to worry about getting it later.
What do you take as your You're still low-ish on payload. Like, this looks like a lot of money, but a big chunk of it's fake.
Mm, we have two golds and a silver for payload, and that's about it, and two fishermen, so we have 10.
Yep.
Um, 10 is not a great number to go into.
What
Oh,
is that? Are they just trying to win immediately? What happens if your opponent just buys a province?
what happens if you don't draw deck?
Your opponent has no debt. Can't they just buy province now?
Yes.
I don't. I don't get this.
much money do we have? I'd love to be able to buy two provinces and a capital. How does that look? Uh, Marin can generate 15 with that. Yes.
I would, as Marin, I would think just like two provinces and pay off debt or something.
Well, the reason why I want the capital is I want to mm, have Yuri be under pressure of the pilot next turn, which you really can't do anything.
So Yuri has 5 buys, right?
We just one.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're getting a church. That's fair.
Yeah, this looked reasonable. Now, what Yuri's big plan is, can they hit 28?
Apparently, this to
Surely not.
discard the capitals.
These
And we can't even use all of those capitals, right? Because
this
we
was worse than
don't have enough
useless.
draw.
Yeah. Uh, I think that double capital play was really bad for Yuri.
Yeah. We really needed to not be buying copper than getting rid of this spice merchant. I feel like,
Well, so now we've got capitals to feed to the spice merchant.
no, but the capitals, they still generate 6 money on the turn when the next turn is not a concern.
These capitals, I don't understand. I don't think Yuri is dead lost. They line their cards up the right way. Maybe they get a big triple province turn, and then surprise, surprise, they sneak out a win.
Oh yeah, I think we are flipping a coin here, but the coin is heavily weighted towards Marin.
All right, Steph thinks Yuri is totally dead.
Don't agree with that. As long as they're mostly even on points, Yuri can just draw a hand of like four capitals.
Yes, could Yuri
Uh,
hit triple here? I think so, right? So they've got
if they just drawing out a capital,
18,
yeah.
21, 22 in hand. Minus 2 dead is 20. Like if they draw their other capital, they triple here. Uh, that's scary. Where is the second capital for Marin? It is not in the discard. I think you spice the capital. You'll draw your other capital for sure.
Now you want to spice the gold if you're gonna spice the capital?
Uh, well, I want the capital for plus buy. I want the gold for payload. It's okay.
Yeah, but the capital is more payload this turn. It's even more payload over. Well, it's the same payload over 2 turns.
All right, yeah. Let's see if we can do it. Yuri just needs a lucky draw here. Find the capital.
Hey,
All right. Well, yeah. This is just an easy win. You got it in hand. Wow, yeah, Steph is such a fool. What does that guy know about Dominion? All right, you already put the point on the board. Could we have the reverse sweep?
We
Comeback time.
registered.
Yuri gets to be player one now too.
Yeah, maybe it's not all lost yet. There's just one player to blame that he has left to win. This
Alrighty, we got a kingdom here. This is whoa, this is something.
we have enhanced with shelters. We have excellent trashing.
So the only way to play extra
With
terminals per turn is to march them, which is not cost effective. So that's not really a thing. Uh, man, this is an unhappy kingdom. This is 2 hours and 23 minutes in because a certain someone ran an hour late, perhaps due to the time zones recently changing in France. I will leave it open to anyone's guess which of these two players that was. But one of them was an hour late to the match. Oh, there's a Necropolis. Out of sight, out of mind. If it's not in player one's turn one hand, then it might as well not exist. Okay, you can play 2 terminals per turn. That is a big difference.
yeah, I'm wondering about Anvil Islands as Rush.
Overgrown Estate's not a village. We covered March. March is just a really bad village. Uh, so neither of these is a very good draw, to be honest. I would really like to have Havel Overgrown Estate in my turn 2 hand, and then just buy and march a steward, probably.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, you could also enhance into a steward with Yuri Sand, enhance the hovel.
Wait, how does Yuri enhance a Havel? Oh, you mean next turn?
Uh, yeah, next turn.
Yeah, I don't like either of these draws. Enhance with Havel is kind of nice because Havel is actually not a victory card, so you can kill it.
Yeah, the 2/5 just seems awful.
Yeah, what do you do on the 2/5? Witch's Hut and Faithful Hound, maybe? That could give out a curse if you discard Faithful Hound and Necropolis. And the cursing honestly does not. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good, actually. I'd take that back. Like, the trashing here is good.
We have trash.
The cursing is terminal. I'm not super jazzed, actually, about the. I don't know. I'm back and forth. The cursing doesn't scare me, but also the kingdom sucks. So maybe just like Witch's Hut and an Anvil to gain silvers is like decent money. So that could be a thing, I guess.
I mean, maybe I'm still thinking a little bit about Anvil Island. Just
The Anvil Island Rush. Who knows? I mean, nothing else is of any interest here.
this was 24 points. 4 provinces that you got to take to beat it.
I have no realistic conception of whether Anvil Island is any good. Um, I, I mean, I'm confident it's not very good, but this kingdom is not very good, so I can't say with any confidence that it is worse than the alternatives available at present. It is rushing Anvil Island in a state and nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, The Anvil Garden stuff, like in the Anvil Gardens rush, the gardens score like 3 points, so it's not that good either. It's a
A-
little bit better than Workshop, but that's about it.
Anvil
And
Gardens came up in the Cider versus Tufta match. Cider went for Anvil Gardens and I believe won game one on it. I mean, it's better than Workshop Gardens, which is, I
yeah,
suppose,
you can
saying
play.
something.
Yeah, you can play with Witch's Hut, with the Anvil Island stuff.
And so, contemplated Witch's Hut Faithful Hound as an open for Marin. If not that, then what else? I don't think War Chest looks great. No, you don't want a bunch of fives. And if you wanted a, well, I mean, it is non-terminal gainer. I think it's probably Witch's Hut or the Steward. Yeah, I mean, you suck it up and take the Steward because, I mean, you want a Steward for trashing. And then for yurikamome, I don't know what you open.
I mean, I want to enhance into uh enhance Hovel into a free, and
Yeah. But then what are the threes that you're taking? An anvil and a steward? A forager and a steward? I don't know. I don't see what. How does steward silver lead you into money?
I mean, I don't think if we are gonna just play some sort of big money thing, then okay, I'd rather play Anvil Island.
Well, it doesn't sound like big money.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer playing Anvil Island over
Oh,
big
I
money.
see. I see.
And maybe we just
Faithful. Oh, never mind. That was Marin who bought the Faithful Hound. They had the 2-5. I was about to be shocked. Okay, Yuri Kamame likes the Steward Silverline. Iris. Wait a second. Iris is the one who told him to get two plungers, weren't they? Iris is just a bad influence, is what I'm gathering here. Faithful Hound War Chest. Okay.
well, we're building
Okay.
something with the war chest. What do you do? Like, you click on war chest, what do you do if your opponent clicks on Witch's Hut, which I assume they will.
Uh, let's see. Marin's hand will be 4 coppers, a island, and a war chest. We're probably buying island and trashing the hovel. Or maybe you gain the island off of war chest, trashing the hovel, then march the island to set aside a copper.
Okay, sure. That sounds unexciting, but I maybe it's better than the alternatives.
Do you enhance the necropolis? Looks like the answer is
Mm,
yes, or never mind. Looks like the answer is no.
I would. I don't have high ambitions for this kingdom at all.
Yeah, like depending on what you're doing, that necropolis could well be worse than useless. If you're just doing the anvil rush, certainly you have no need for a necropolis in your deck. If you're playing big money, it might not be very helpful either. Uh, that's not so certain because if you're playing big money, you might still be playing Witch's Hut money, in which case the necropolis could be just a thing to discard to curse them, so it's not terrible. Um, but I mean, trashing a junk card early on can be really good. So
I mean,
okay,
Witch's Hut is part of the reason why I'm on this Anvil Island thing. Is you can play the Witch's Hut and discard the islands. Give away
that's
curses that
that
way.
that's true. Yeah. I think Witch's Hut seems pretty good. All right, so Yuri chose to buy an anvil instead of enhancing a necropolis into an anvil. So whatever Yuri's planning, they seem to want a decent number of terminal action cards because they are intentionally keeping necropolis around.
Yeah, and Marin bought a Forager in the same scenario instead of enhancing.
Both enhancing overgrown estate. Well, I
Yeah,
think.
they both tried to enhance and then realized they can't enhance the wheat.
Oh, I thought they bought the enhance, planning to trash the necropolis, and then got cold feet about whether they wanted the necropolis to die. That was my interpretation of that. Maybe they did just not know how enhance works. Okay, fair enough. Maybe they didn't know that you can't enhance overgrown estate. Witch's Hut seems like a good card to name. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steph asserts that he does not have any additional powers over the live games, which is exactly what one would say in that situation, or one to have some clandestine powers over the live games. So, confirming my suspicions.
All right. I guess we bought this war chest and we didn't necessarily have a plan to what to do in this situation.
Or maybe we just got too many
And
options and we just got the kid in the candy shop problem. I don't know. A minute ago, I hypothesized that we gained an island and marched it here. That still seems reasonable to me. It's not like obvious. Uh, could just be buy island and gain anvil. I think I still like the March Island plan. Oh, we March Steward. This is good too. I'm down with this.
it's
No, no, wait.
uh
Is it so the one line leaves puts an island on your mat instead of a steward in your deck. I think I prefer having an island on my mat to a steward in my deck.
yes, I think I prefer having points rather than a steward. Island is a distant shore that doesn't gain you an estate, in fact.
Curious deck. So we got an Acropolis, which we are
Really.
still saving for a rainy day. I am intrigued as to what their ambitions are. Lots of dogs. The plan has lots of dogs.
I guess we just want witch's hat and dogs and give out two curses a turn with Necropolis, witch's hat.
Yeah.
What if you don't draw your Necropolis with the witch's hat in the starting hand?
Will you give it one curse after discarding it?
Yeah. Unexciting.
So payload wise, I was thinking the way to get payload here is probably an anvil or two, and then like flood your deck with silvers. Again, assuming that we're playing big money, which seems like we're doing something in that direction. Uh, the downside, of course, is I mean, you could just play with a few golds, which are much less efficient, but enhance always makes gold like a little bit suspiciously helpful in the end game because you can enhance gold, and then it's like a $5 treasure instead of $3 treasure on the last turn. So that's something to his credit. Probably not worth it, just because it's still you gotta buy gold, but
I mean, if I hit 6 in this kingdom with no plus buy,
all right, Island, Martian Island. That's my vote.
yeah. And somehow I guess we can still keep that OE, but I was gonna comment that somehow they both managed to get their OE on the mat instead of trashing it. Oh, we bought two islands. Okay.
That's a curious choice.
It is ambitious for
How many
sure.
terminals are currently in Yurikame's deck? I'm seeing four in their hand, and they just bought two more. Uh, One might be led to believe they have more villages than they in fact do.
They probably have another witch's hut, right?
Someone's got two of them. I don't know whom.
To be fair, Faithful Hunt is not really a terminal. It's it's just a token that
Yeah,
you
they
discard.
okay. So they have four, five, six, seven terminals. There are seven terminals in this deck with just an Acropolis.
All right, John. You never draw it. It's always in your starting hand. So if you don't draw a witch's hut, then
Or you draw your starting hand and don't have a Witch's Hut in it, and then how are you discarding it for the following turn?
um that doesn't happen. Let's just pretend that that doesn't happen.
So Steph wanted to discard the Witch's Hut, presumably, then march the Witch's Hut. Little awkward because you're passing up on. Never mind. I was gonna say you're passing up on two gains, but like you can't use the anvil anyway. Um,
I guess
yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing that.
I think I. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably best.
Actually, hey, if we can we can keep on doing this.
It's like you got your Necropolis in your next turn hand, which would be where you want it, except you got it down there with two things that are not Witch's Huts. Um, so clearing out the shuffle is probably good. Alternatively, you could discard the island and march it and get rid of this overgrown estate that's still pestering you. Uh,
I feel like we have the ambitions to uh crash this overgrown estate at some point with a forger.
all right,
But
well,
hey,
here we go. Our ambitious plan has come to fruition. The overgrown estate will be trashed. We will draw a singular card, and I'm sure it will turn out lovely. I think these decks are getting a little too fancy.
I mean they're giving out curses, which is something.
The Witch's Hut would not be the part that I would object to.
Uh,
Here we see the downside of Faithful Hound.
uh, well, we have one witch's hut, so right? No, we got the second one at some point.
It's called Faithful Hound, but that dog is really more of a Fairweather fan. Oh, you didn't have a Witch's Hut this particular turn? Yeah, sorry, I'm out.
Hmm.
That dog's about to not be faithful. Watch it not stick around. It's no sheepdog.
Yeah, you have to just do all of this work around it, Sean. But do we have a witch's hut in the Discord?
Uh,
No, no, we may have
nope.
it. All right. Yeah, okay. Will work, I suppose.
Does Marin have two Witch's Huts? Yes. A third Witch's Hut seems like too many huts. As I say that, they gain a Witch's Hut. What
You
a
can play it.
yeah.
It's,
They're just trying to be defiant.
Maybe you just trash one at some point.
Okay, here we go. This is about the best this turn can do. Ooh, I think you only set aside one of these. Maybe it makes no difference. I was gonna say you want to discard the other one to the second witch's hut, but you had three actions anyway, so uh, all the same.
Mm,
No discard, get gold. I don't follow.
I don't mind doing the
Oh, you mean don't discard the
discard.
anvil and then buy a gold? I was thinking of marching the steward.
I'm thinking of marching an island here to take this island that we put in our deck out of our deck.
They are not
Oh,
using March nearly as
that.
much as I would have expected them to.
All right. This is all right. This is a little bit better now because we can march the last wishes hat. Do we have an action down there actually? We have a steward. Okay, I'll be fine.
Strange first discard. What
Uh, I
cursed
assume we
copper?
save actions so that we can discard actions with both our witches huts that are coming up to give away the curses.
Oh yeah, I. Yeah, why did they discard a copper instead of a faithful hound? That is an odd choice.
Because I assume we have exactly four actions in these bottom cards, which is faithful. Oh, we have two faithful hands and a witch's hut which are in our hand, and we have one steward down there. So we want both the witches huts to curse. Or
They can only play two witches huts, right?
uh
I mean, I guess you could discard this witch's hut and march it,
yeah,
but
that
that's
that would be
any.
the idea. But I
What sort of shuffle you're triggering then? There's not too much junk down there, so maybe.
this, there might be like one curse or two curses, right? Like
There's a curse and a copper,
almost
and
nothing.
has your opponent cursed you? Two curses and a copper? Three curses and a copper? Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, I don't think I
Oh,
want to march the witch's hut. It's kind of a nasty. Well,
I mean,
if you got a
whatever is
steward,
down there is not much better, right? Like
if
a
you
steward, the
if you
junk
play
cards.
all six of this money, and then you march the witch's hut, and you draw a curse, you could march the steward and trash two more cards, maybe, depending on what you draw. Hounds
I
can
don't
pile
follow.
pretty quickly. I don't know if they have that many gains.
Yeah, we have one forager each, and I guess yurikamome has an anvil too. Looks like we are gonna merge the switches hut.
I don't. I think I've been more annoyed by more of the micro level decisions Yuri has made, but I think I agree that they're still in the lead. I'm not sure why. Maybe just big picture, they took more islands.
Yeah, they have three islands, right? To one. And they also had the witches huts earlier in the deck. Duchy. Okay. I don't think Duchy was on Marin's mind yet.
I mean, it could have been. Probably not, but maybe.
Oh, wait, why are we top decking that hand? That seems awful.
This is that was horrible, right? This is so bad because that. Well, you haven't triggered a shuffle, but that's like all your hounds getting discarded. Um,
You know, you can't trigger this shuffle because then you don't have any hounds
well,
in the deck now, so you don't have anything to discard.
no,
And suppose it doesn't have.
I think playing the hound is still better than not because those cards were all terrible. And although your hounds are not in the shuffle, you're also causing a bunch of your other junk to miss the shuffle.
I guess.
Yeah, I was just saying I disliked more of Yuri Kamame's smaller decisions. I take that back.
Yeah,
That
this
was
was
I think those were some serious misplays from Marin just then.
right. Well, guess we're gonna ban this island. So, oh no, ban the duchy. I guess Marin can force an island here. So decide first.
Someone should
But
let
that like
Yuri Kamame know what the concept of terminal space is.
we have a village. We have
We
we
have
have
one
March,
village
right?
for the 35 terminal action cards in our deck. And like there is March. March is, while very inefficient, a village, and every time Yuri has the opportunity to march, he says, "Nope, not feeling it. I'll do something else." That was a bad draw. Seeing that Necropolis was terrible, they drew no money. Yeah, um, sad times.
I mean, they drew no money because I don't think they have a lot of money in their deck. Like 9 coppers in the trash. There are only 5 coppers between the players. And there's 1 silver in Yuri's deck, I think,
uh,
and 1 anvil.
yeah. So
Yes.
apparently, this was the Island Anvil singular rush. It's just the one island, or just the one anvil. All we needed. Hey, I mean, surely you trash here.
Yay. That's 2 more points, so I guess we are happy.
We're going places. Yeah, I like the duchy name now here. Make your opponent gain an island if they want to score.
I think you do gain an island as Marin. And maybe not. Maybe you have to go for a silver
Yeah, I mean, lower
because
islands look
Yuri,
scary,
yeah, Yuri is almost certainly gaining an island here because they're gonna draw their anvil.
and they're one other treasure. And poor Yuri keeps drawing this Necropolis dead.
It's not that surprising considering he's playing a witch's hut every turn and
That's true. You see five
like
cards in your starting hand, 4 cards after Witch's Hut. Um, Island. I can't even afford a Faithful Hound or a March. Copper. We've been reduced to buying copper. Oh man. Maybe if your deck weren't 88% terminal action cards, you could do something. Do we not want to march this forager? There's only one treasure in the trash. Maybe not. Oh, we have a steer down there. I like this better, I think.
I mean
I'm not sure
I
killing
was
the.
gonna trust a faithful hand over a
Yeah,
copper
I was
there.
about to say the same thing. That copper might have more value for you than the dog at this point. Probably does. We have hit the inspiring number of 2. So now, can Yuri find a treasure? Far from certain, but they have added copper to their deck, so maybe.
Yeah, this game seems great.
What has happened? Or silver, I guess. Marin's in a sticky situation because. Okay,
Oh,
that's not bad. I like that.
oh, we can do that, right?
Like even 2 duchies isn't enough to be safe here because Yuri's going to score 2 more points off of this island. Man, imagine if Yuri
Well,
had
Yuri needs to hit.
any money. This deck is just 100%. His hand is all terminal action cards. Where are you getting the villages to play this? Look at his hand.
Oh, this is great.
I think Marin might win this, right?
Yes.
Like
Well,
this,
you get Titan points this turn, right? Because you can.
yeah. You gain another duchy, and now like Yuri would really want to play Steward for money here and buy a Faithful Hound. But if Marin takes a duchy, that's not super safe.
I think that's the steward that goes, yeah,
Okay,
over the witch's hut.
that sounds about right. Yeah, like what do you do here as Yuri? Buy an estate, set aside an island.
Hmm. Well, our opponent can hit duchy, and we can't. So,
Yuri's deck is what, like a silver, an anvil, a few coppers, and then 1,000,001 action cards.
I've heard that action cards are good. Hmm.
I mean, again, like to be fair, Yuri I thought was in the driver's seat for a minute. They did have a little bit of unfortunate luck, just consistently failing to draw their Necropolis, but I think there's also a decent portion of like their own poor choices coming back to bite them here. Uh,
Okay, Yuri's deck is capable of hitting five.
okay,
Um,
how much more money is in these bottom 17 cards?
I'm thinking it's an anvil, exactly.
Is it literally just an anvil? Are there any other treasures down there for that anvil to discard? There's a forager, which actually is not enough. If you landed the forager and the anvil, you could buy an estate. Why is their deck? Oh, there's a steward too, which we also just drew. Oh my god, this deck.
Okay, and now you can't name duchy as Yuri. You have to name Faithful Hound, right?
Uh, ooh, that's a
Oh,
good point.
as Marin, do you show him the silver?
Oh, that would just be devastating. Play the silver first, just to prove your point. Yeah, this duchy I think seals the deal. Like I don't know how Yuri's deck scores any points. Chest to duchy. I don't. Why is chest to duchy better than just playing the chest and gaining a duchy? Would I just buy a faithful hound? That's reasonable. Yeah. I don't think your opponent's getting a
Yuri.
province.
Yeah, they might hit an estate if they're lucky.
Uh, I think I
Like,
like discarding the copper to gain the estate so that you can buy a copper. Look at these decks. Look at these. I don't know where Yuri is getting any number of points here. Like,
Well, that's game.
I think it is literally impossible for yurikamome to hit 5 twice in a shuffle. Do they even have 10 money in their deck? Okay, well that
After
was.
all these covers, they might.
Sometimes we go
But
out not with a bang but with a whimper. But that is the match. Congratulations to Marin, who is our first semi-finalist and guaranteed some amount of prize money, a minimum 50 euros, I believe. They'll be playing either JNails or Sangatsu. I've heard some good things about those players, so they're in for a tough time. Anyways, that's all for now.